All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be talking about MSTY and the underlying company, which is MicroStrategies. Because MicroStrategies within the past couple months has gone from a $500 stock roughly to a $350 stock. Is this 20% to roughly 25% downgrade in price worth it? What's going on with MicroStrategies? Is the business collapsing? Is the business failing? So what I want to talk about today is I'm going to take you through a total breakdown on MicroStrategies. I'm going to take you through their Bitcoin holdings. I'm going to take you through what their strategy is in a very simplified version. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the total supply of Bitcoin. We'll also talk about other forms which act as Bitcoin acts. And this is really a full video to determine if you guys are looking to buy MSTY. Is this a smart move? Is this what you guys want to be doing with your money? Because right now, MSTY is paying an 88% dividend. I have all my MSTY dividends up here, and I've done the liberty of tallying them all. So we're going to talk about all that and more. So if you're into MSTY, please do stick around. We're up to 8,528 subscribers. And let me tell you, just for retrospect, your boy is a little bit smooth today. Because damn, I downloaded Tinder for like 20 minutes and I already got 3 dates set up. So, I'm pulling harder than an F-150. So life's not bad right now because you know what? I've been working pretty hard with my investments and stuff, and I've been really zoned in, locked in, looking at over 1,000 companies the past 30 days. And I'm like, you know what, man, maybe it's time to let loose a little bit and meet some new people. So that's very exciting. What's going on in my life? What's going on in yours? Let me know in the comments down below and subscribe so, we can build this community. Cool. So, but nonetheless, I'm not going to be talking about relationship advice because I'm talking about dividends, investing, and MSTY. So let's just jump into it a little bit. So you can see these are all my dividends paid from MSTY within the past year, and it's a huge list, okay? So all these dividends starting from down here, and it extends all the way up here. MSTR, MSTY. So all these dividends in total, they total about $1,200 Canadian. They total about $873 American. But nonetheless, I want to take you guys through my MSTY position so you guys get a sense of what I'm holding here, and maybe you can relate it to your own position because MSTY has taken a pretty big hit recently. And you can see here that my position size is 150 shares. My average share price is $21.91. Make sure you mention your average share price in the comments below. I'm super interested to hear what you guys have and if you guys are currently buying. The share price now is $14.74. My total current market value for these 150 shares of MSTY is $2,211, which is down 32%. So just off first glance, that's a pretty big hit, and that actually outweighs the hit of $873 American dollars. So I am currently down overall on my MSTY position. This is, of course, for the majority of time, like Yieldmax ETFs, they underperform, but MSTY has been a very well-performing ETF, and it has been from the beginning. But only in recent times when MSTR, the underlying stock, has fallen, has it really taken a big hit. So, begs the question, should we be buying MSTY? Well, let's dive in a little bit to some questions that people have on Reddit, for example, to kind of get a sense of what other people understand about MSTR, how it works. MicroStrategies system works as long as you can keep borrowing at low interest rates versus the projected price of Bitcoin and having that increase. So what does this all mean basically? MSTR, they hold Bitcoin, but their strategy for holding Bitcoin is basically they borrow cheap money with convertible notes, which they convert and buy loans of Bitcoin. This in turn, the mass buying of Bitcoin, and we can go and see their buys in Bitcoin. So you could see, they're not buying small amounts. Sometimes they're buying 2.5 billion. 18 million is a bit smaller, but 357 million, 450 million, basically 217 million. So they're buying mass amounts of Bitcoin. And this whole idea around it is that they're buying so much Bitcoin that it's actually going to increase the price of Bitcoin, thus going to increase the stock price because of course, you're kind of going off of the future projections of your company. When your company's holding over 640,000 Bitcoin, and people believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up in the future because it continues to rise, then likely your stock is going to go up as well, which is what we've been seeing. And then in turn, what does that create? That means stock price rises, which means they can then borrow more cheap money off of their stock price and continue the process. So that's kind of the strategy with micro strategies in MSTR. And I think it's a pretty cool strategy. They're obviously doing it on a huge scale. And so far, I mean, over the past few years, Bitcoin has absolutely continued to explode. They've been buying Bitcoin since 2020, back when it was $17,000. And you can see here, actually, what's really cool if you go on their website is you can see all of their buys, micro strategies. So here in, it looks like August 11th of 2020, they did their first ever Bitcoin buy at 250 million and have been buying consistently since then. And you could even see they've actually slowed down their recent buys to nothing really too crazy, a $200 million buy, but then the rest aren't really anything too crazy in my opinion. So it seems like they've slowed down. Maybe it's due to the price of Bitcoin becoming pretty high and their stock price actually not really increasing too much. That's what I'm also assuming too. But with that comes the fall in MSTY, and this can bring a fantastic dividend yield for investors, but will MSTY and MSTR recover? And that's a difficult question to say, because in my opinion, this all goes to the sense that, do people think that Bitcoin is overvalued or undervalued? If they think Bitcoin is going to rise in insane amounts in the future, they're likely going to buy MSTR because they hold so much Bitcoin. But if you don't think that the price is going to rise and you think it's a bad time to potentially be purchasing Bitcoin, then maybe people are going to stay away from MSTR, wait till the price of Bitcoin falls. Maybe MSTR is going to fall, and then they're going to invest and potentially rise up the stock once again. So it's really hard to say. And to be honest, if you're looking this at a long-term perspective, MSTR's current Bitcoin holdings with 640,000 Bitcoin is valued at $78 billion. Okay, their current market cap is sitting at roughly, we're going to call it $100 billion, round up. Okay, so that's roughly a $20 billion difference, a pretty big difference. But the whole idea with this is that if you own micro strategies, let's say here at $100 billion, and Bitcoin has a surge in their share price, Bitcoin has a surge in the price of Bitcoin, let's say it goes up to 250,000. Of course, like, who says what's going to happen? But let's say that happens, then their Bitcoin holdings are going to surge over their valuation as a company of $100 billion. This might be valued at, let's say, $150 billion is their Bitcoin value. Then all of a sudden, you're buying a company which is only worth $100 billion, and their underlying holdings are worth 50% more than that. If they were to sell out, that's a 50% return right there. So that's kind of the understanding. Do you want to put your money into MSTR or potentially MSTY and then bank on the price of Bitcoin going up? Because Bitcoin has a total supply of 21 million Bitcoins. Currently, we're sitting at 19.92. So we've only really got about 1.08 more Bitcoins to mine. That's going to be in the year 2040. So it's still got a long ways to go. But if you think that Bitcoin is the future, then this is definitely a company that you could purchase to, I guess, have a lot of your money tied to Bitcoin. Not saying you own Bitcoin, but tied. But once again, as my friend Joel mentioned, who I had on my channel many times before, check out our previous videos where we did analysis on a bunch of different stocks together. For Bitcoin, it's a lot better to own the underlying thing versus the potentially, like the stock, for example. I'll make a case with silver and gold. I believe it's a lot better to own physical silver, which I have physical silver right here, versus a silver paper trading stock or something like that. I think it's always better to hold the physical asset. So if you were looking at MSTR from a Bitcoin purchasing prospect, like you want to directly be tied and hold Bitcoin, I think it's best that you just buy Bitcoin. But I do like what MicroStrategies is doing as a company, and potentially if Bitcoin maybe has a drop in price, they're able to acquire a lot more, and they could potentially see their stock price shoot up. So it's really up in the air. It's 50-50 in my opinion as to see what happens with MicroStrategies, because now you're not only playing with the price of Bitcoin, but you're playing with what people are willing to pay for a company. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So do I think MSTY is undervalued? Well, personally, I think that if you're willing to buy MSTY, when MSTR is roughly at a $450 value, then why would you not be buying at a $350 value? So if you're willing to buy any stock at a higher price, why would you not be excited when the stock drops? And so MSTY, I would definitely be looking to reinvest. Personally, this is just me personally, not telling you guys what to do. This is not financial advice. Just on the basis that, of course, the income is great, and I think it's a better buying opportunity than it was previously. But the reason why I'm not buying is because I do see better opportunities, and I'm currently building up a position in WYY, which is wide point. That is my only sole focus right now. I'm trying to put as much money there as possible, so I am not putting money into MSTY. So that's my reasoning behind it. But give me your own reasoning about what you guys are doing in MSTY or MSTR, or your thoughts on Bitcoin. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're up to 8,528 subscribers. So please do subscribe, stick around. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and take care. Enjoy your Sunday. Catch you later.